I want to circle back on Minister Melanie Joly's involvement in this latest Justin Trudeau scandal. We heard through you, Mr. Cousineau, that you notified her chief of staff sometime in June. You're going to give us the exact date. What I didn't hear is the actual date of the closing of the new unit. Presumably, real estate closes at the end of the month. Is it safe to say this occurred at the end of June of 2024?
Mr. Chair, if you bear with me, I'm just want to make sure that I have like the information right in front of my eyes. The transaction approval, the payment and the transaction was towards the end of June 2024. Yeah.
But Melanie Joly's office was notified much earlier than the actual sale, correct?
Mr. Chair, as part of our process and communication, yes, we had communicated at the end.
And to your knowledge, you only communicated with the chief of staff. I'd like you to table the correspondence that you sent to the chief of staff. Will you do that, sir?
Mr. Chair, I'm not sure if there's correspondence.
Well, you pick up the phone and say, hey, by the way, we just purchased a $9 million condo on Billionaires Row. Is that what you did?
Mr. Chair,
surely
again,
there must be something that's official.
Mr. Chair, I want to reiterate, we follow our delegation authority, supported by expertise and a team.
How did you communicate, sir? It's a simple question.
Our team actually has been communicated with the Minister's office.
How did you communicate? Snail mail, email, telephone call? What did you do?
Mr. Chair, I could confirm and verify how the communication was done with their
Fine. It's absolutely ridiculous that you can't tell me how you communicate with your own ministry. That's absolutely ludicrous. Now, I think Canadians want to know why there's been such a deafening silence from the minister herself, knowing that we've got a housing crisis, an affordability crisis, 9 years of Justin Trudeau's spendthrift and irresponsible government, and crickets from the minister with respect to a $9 million condo for Justin Trudeau's buddy, who once asked him, what kind of shampoo do you use? As ridiculous as look, why hasn't she communicated to the public about this particular purchase?
Mr. Chair, we follow delegation authority, and I wouldn't want to speak on behalf of the minister. I think that question should be more appropriate for the minister herself. Thank you.
Okay. Let's talk about the property itself. It's listed. An elegant entry foyer with white Makuba stone floors, stunning powder room finished in jewel onyx, custom smoked gray floors, an Italian white Venato marble in one of the bathrooms, a freestanding copper soaking tub handcrafted by William Holland, custom bronze fixtures by Mr. Gurin. We talk about a kitchen equipped with a wet bar, Cristallo gold quartz-right countertops, custom handcrafted cabinetry, a full suite of Gaggenau appliances. Gaggenau, the most expensive appliance maker in the world, an oven, a Gaggenau oven costs $19,000. So I guess shopping at our local Leon's or the Brick wasn't an option for the Canadian taxpayers. But, I'm wondering why you had to have all of these features. I'm referencing your statement. When you talk about the old unit, last refurbished in '82, the apartment does not meet new building codes nor standards. So what I just described to you as luxurious pieces, are these GAC standards, or more frankly, are they Tom Clark's standards? Can you answer that question, sir?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to just reiterate Mr. Clark didn't have any influence in the selection and approval of this new condo. The feature that we just described are not part of our what I would call space requirements. And that, we don't look at that kind of feature. We look at the value of the property, and we felt that the value proposition and the value for money was there for Canadians.
Well, the oven is $19,000. The refrigerator is $13,000. The coffee maker is $4,600. The freezer is $11,000. The dishwasher is $6,000. How on earth is that value for the Canadian taxpayer?
Mr. Chair, once
Just
again,
a very brief answer, please.
Mr. Chair, that's not part of the space requirements that we do when we do the actual evaluation of a new property. And I'll leave it at that.
Great. Thanks. We're going to go now over to you, Ms. Atwin. Please go ahead, please, for 5.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I'm just going to begin my questions this round by also, saying the way that we present ourselves as parliamentarians should be front of mind. Canadians are watching this. I think that the public servants that have come before us today to share what they know, they've been open, they've been transparent, they've been honest with us. So I really take offense to the characterization of anyone who's come before us today as not being as truthful as they possibly can. And I just think we need to be really careful again of how we conduct our meetings. It's been a bit of a trend here, unfortunately, that our public servants have kind of been raked over the coals. And as we know in the past, this has actually led to threats being made against them or, social media campaigns. And so I really would caution all of us to be careful that this doesn't happen again. So I do have a question. Mr. Cousineau, you mentioned about the consul serving 300,000 Canadians in the area. What kind of services do citizens actually receive at the residence?
Mr. Chair, thank you very much for the question. It's an excellent one. I can tell you that consul is one of our busiest missions that we have in the world. And I'll turn to my dear colleague, Mark Aylan, to respond on the operation.
Yeah, with respect to services that the consulate provides directly to citizens, the committee will be aware of a number of incidents that have happened in New York's territory over the last year. There was a tour bus that crashed in upstate New York involving Canadians. A plane went down. People will remember the explosion at the Rainbow Bridge. Last November. And when these things happen, it's very important that the consulate has very close ties with local authorities. And in this case, with the governor's office, for example, with respect to the explosion at the Rainbow Bridge. And those ties are as I said earlier, maintained and advanced through the work of the consulate, which includes events at the official residence.
Great. Well, thank you very much. And I guess more generally, just kind of considering all the testimony we've heard today and yesterday previously. So for any of our witnesses, if you'd like to weigh in, have you personally dealt with any cases similar to this case where residence or other real property was bought to replace one that was being sold? Is this something you've experienced before?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for that question. As I mentioned at the beginning, we have quite a complex infrastructure around the globe and 182 mission, 112 missions. So we do have regular transaction, hundreds of projects. I couldn't speak if there was any recent transactions similar to this one. I am looking to my colleague, Mr. Dubois.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Yes, as Mr. Cousineau was saying, with the amount of properties that we have abroad, we have experience in transactions of either selling or purchasing or replacing assets. Would that be chanceries, official residences, or staff quarters? Of course, we don't replace official residences as often as staff quarters, but we do have experience over the past few years of those transactions.
And do you remember similar committee studies, or can you think of previous inquiries of this nature?
Call any study as of this one.
Okay. And just in general, again, as far as anything with regards to this purchase, to the decisions that were made, was all policy followed?
Mr. Chair, thank you very much for the question. I'm going to reiterate that all the policies were followed. It was a smart acquisition, and it was well documented and exempt from any influence. Thank you.
And do you have any concerns at all about how this process unfolded, or anything that's transpired with regards to this conversation?
Thank you very much for the question. Indeed, I'm very proud of the work that's been done by our people, the recommendation that they provided, and the due diligence that they've been followed, providing a value for money for Canadians as we move forward with this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you. And just with my remaining couple of seconds here, I'd just like to ask, in general, again, I know you've been interrupted a bit. There's been some time, taken away from your responses. If there's anything at all you'd like to add, please do so.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
In 10 seconds.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Once again, I think this is a very smart investment. We're very proud of the work that's done and this new acquisition that we'll do. When we look at other countries such as Danish, that's not even part of the G7. They are in Manhattan and they paid like $9 million. If we compare to the G7, I think we're well positioned. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mr. Cousineau. Mr.